Hey y'all, it's your boy Farrell. Uh, Currently working from home, or I should say, trying to work from home while grappling with this crisis that we're all grappling with. I just want to take a minute out of my day to touch base with all of you. First and foremost, before I dive into anything, I hope that you are all able to take some time for yourselves, to take care of yourselves and your families and communities during this time of crisis, during this pandemic. And I hope that you overall are doing well, with all things considered. So those of you who are struggling right now, I send you my love and support. And I hope that we can all find ways to support each other and continue supporting each other as we all try to get through this. But the reason I'm shooting this video today and taking a moment out of my work day is because I was in a community leader conference call this morning, which was great. I love getting a chance to still connect to the community when I can during this pandemic. I'm trying to do as much of that as I possibly can. I'm within reason because, you got to take care of yourself too. And a topic came up during that discussion that I felt warranted a moment to do a little video, sound off on it a bit. And we started talking about something that we'd all been seeing pop up in various circles that we're all a part of. And it is this concept of normalizing the situation, or wanting us to return back to normal. There's a whole lot of folks out there like, can't wait till we get back to normal. We need the economy to get back to normal. We need this, that, and the other to get back to normal. We need to get back to normal so businesses can open. And I'm good. I could really, really live without going back to normal. There's a lot of privilege in the idea that I just want to go back to normal, that people are throwing around out there. Truth of the matter is, normal isn't great for a lot of us. Going back to normal is some heavy shit for a lot of us. Let's be real. If you're a marginalized person in this country, if you're a person of color, things aren't great when they're normal often. There are a lot of hurdles. There's a lot of hate and inequity in this country. There's a lot of xenophobia, transphobia, homophobia, ableism, racism, sexism. There's a lot that goes on in this country that impacts marginalized folks in real ways. So going back to normal isn't a departure from the pain that a lot of us deal with anyway. So this whole concept of going back to normal is supremely privileged. It's a privilege to be like, I'd like my life to go back to normal, because, I had all these great things and right now my great things aren't as great. That's some supremely privileged shit. Let's be completely honest with ourselves here. So for those of us who don't have privilege, going back to normal isn't a positive per se. Sure, some of us would like to go back to a time, say 6 months ago, where we did not have to be sequestered in our homes and navigating the world trying to avoid human beings and human contact. Yes, if we want to talk about a point of normal that some of us would like to go back to, I could understand that. But there's also privilege in that, because there are a lot of folks who are living a reality that they've been living anyway, where for any particular reason they can't really leave the house, that they're in their house and that they're doing their best to try to get through this situation. But they're either agoraphobic. There could be a myriad of different reasons why people can't go outside and don't interact as much. Mental and emotional health. So it's a privilege to even be like, I'd like to go back outside again, or I'd like it to be what it was 6 months ago where I didn't have to avoid people. There are people who do not have that privilege. And I mean, I look at my own life and I look at the little smidgen of privilege that I have, like this little chunk that, the universe and bullshit, and having white people be like, I like that, Farrell. My little slice that I've carved out of this privilege. I think every day, how am I using that privilege to be better? And not harm someone. And if I'm thinking of that, and I'm thinking about all these different layers of how privilege works, and especially privilege during this pandemic, which we'll probably talk about via video at some point. If I'm thinking about all that myself, and I'm talking about this as a person who is marginalized, who is a person of color in this country, who is a black man in this country, how come there are so many people who can't see that? I think that often we get caught in the privileges that we have and the privilege that we have, and we're unhappy when we're made uncomfortable or we don't get to, quote unquote, do the things we think we deserve and we've earned. That's all privilege. For the Asian Pacific Islander folks, our Asian Pacific Islander communities, who are facing extreme xenophobia right now, they were facing some of these trials before all of this happened. Returning back to normal maybe slightly lessens the fact that they've been verbally harassed and physically attacked over the past 30 some odd days. But there's still always that fear there. There's still always a fear of xenophobia and of hate there. So going back to normal, quote unquote, still comes with a great deal of stressors and fallout from this situation. That's one thing that no one talks about in this situation. Going back to normal, there is no normal anymore. We're not even going to say new normal. Whatever we want to prescribe as normal, it is not a thing anymore. We are just going to be trying to get by one day at a time and just try to get back to some level of this not being a supreme stressor on top of all the other stressors that so many people deal with on a daily basis. So, I mean, think about it. Think about how privileged it is to be like, I can't wait for this to go back to normal. Think about those that this affects. Think about how your normal, quote unquote, is not everyone's normal. And that is one of the biggest disconnects in this whole thing, is that what we as a society have deemed as normal is a white supremacist mindset that is steeped in privilege and power. And we're talking about a portion of this country that does not have any of that privilege and power, and we're supposed to be happy for you because you go back to normal. We don't want to go back to normal. Could we maybe go back, maybe get to being better? I would like to think that some of the fallout of all of this would be that some people would actually want to be better. But as the days go on, I start to question it. I start to question how much people are willing to go back to the same things they were doing and the same harm they were creating before all of this, instead of finding some level of empathy through all this. So that's my fear in this, is that by going back to normal, we've learned nothing. And what's the point of not taking something human from this situation? If you get nothing else out of this situation, if you're a person of privilege, if you get no humanity out of this situation, that says a whole lot more about you than it says about the situation. So yeah, I just wanted to get that out there and throw it out into the ether. I'd love to hear all of you's thoughts on how you feel about this idea of going back to normal. Drop some comments down below the video, and share your thoughts with me. In the meantime, before I log off, I want to touch back on the thing, this whole normal thing made me think of when New Year's Day and everybody was like, we're going back to the roaring 20s. And I was like, shit, none of us don't really want to go back to the roaring 20s. The 20s sucked for some of us. This country was messed up in the 1920s. Who the hell wants to go back to the 20s? So yeah, I mean, I end on that, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on this idea of going back to normal, or what people are saying is this is going to be our new normal without any real betterment. So please leave your thoughts below. Comments, disputes, questions, we'll field them all. But in the meantime, take care of yourselves and each other, and be safe. Wash your hands, eat some veggies, and don't go to the park and hang out with 52 people. I've been seeing way too many photos of people out there at the park because the weather's nice, or having damn birthday parties that are social distancing birthday parties. Please stop doing that. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, take care of your communities, and much love to all of you. Take care. Peace.